Yeah, welcome everyone. Let's get it on with. And we have a great announcement from Peter. He's putting a chat for the decentralized governance community session. So if you care about decentralized governance, go there. And it's 2 hours from now. So hopefully you're free. Besides that, we have two big topics today. We are talking about categorization of tasks, of the tasks we all do as circles, and I think we have Edwin and Io for that, if I'm correct. And we will also be discussing the ideation RFP and more specifically the decision making. How are we going to make decisions? Who's going to be the people here from the funding participating on that? So, two big topics and hopefully a lot of good insights. As you probably noticed today, we don't have Yan, but he likes these open lands so much that he left a part of himself here for us to to connect later, and I'll show you what I mean when the time comes. And maybe just before we actually start, I don't know, are there any circle members or is there anyone who would like to introduce yourself? And we started with that in the last Open All Lands with Mariam and with Priscilla. So if anyone else would like to present themselves, guys, this is the time. I'll give you 5 seconds to raise your hand and to present yourself, or else, well, we'll keep going. Even if you're not new, who knows? Many people probably don't know that much about you, so feel free to come on. Any guinea pigs? Any brave people?
Yeah, my name is Ayo, and I.
This looks like a alcoholic anonymous meeting. Hello, Aya.
Hi, my name is Ayo, and I'm a member of the event circle.
All right, Aya. You want to share anything else more, a little bit more personal about yourself? This is very broad. Oh, I guess you don't. You already muted yourself. All right, let's move on. I'll not put you more on the spot. All right. So unless anybody has anything to say, I think we can start. And Edwin, I'll make you co-host, which you already are. So you should be able to share your screen and move on with your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Rafael. Let's measure. I don't know if my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay, so I hope everyone is aware of this document is already in the Mattermost channel. We shared it across all circles to gather the tasks that every circle does. And the first tab is what is a collation of all the circles tags. You can see it right here. And the second tab is what we actually worked on. We took all the inputs and sort of merged and streamlined everything into this one document. So, you can see we have, let's say, around 6 common tasks that is being done across all circles. We have the meeting and calls as the first, and this is a detailed description of what that category entails. Is there, we have the research, analysis, and reports. We have the documentation. We have the coordination. We have async communication and collaboration. And we have direct onboarding support. For this one, well, we'll debate about it because we have an onboarding cycle. And also the what do you call it? According to all circles, they do some sort of onboarding. So I wanted to see the what do you call it? What the onboarding does up to and what the circles do, so that maybe there's no overlapping over the that particular tax. And then we have the unique tax of every circle. So we have the onboarding circle, we have the focus group. Apparently, the focus group doesn't really have any unique element unless otherwise. But looking at what they submitted, they don't really have any unique thing that they do. It's all part of the common ones. And we have the operation circles, then the events. Then we have the dev outreach, the marketing review, and analytics. So these are the unique things that each circle does. So I wanted everyone to go through, and if there's questions on this particular categorization, we can go over it and we can iron it out and start implementation. Okay, any question?
All right. So just for further context, the first tab was submitted by the circle coordinators. What we simply did was to see if there was anything that was described that looks commonplace. And the idea here is that when people log in hours, people can pick from a drop-down menu of task categories that covers, for everyone, so that there is some consistency in what we call, the semantics or the glossary or the definitions of the choices by which we represent the hours that we log. All right. So basically that's the idea here. So for example, dev outreach may want to maybe clarify circle task and special purpose task. Maybe there's a better name for it, or maybe, because probably every circle can say circle tasks. So what we call circle tasks are what we are trying to represent as unique to each circle, right? So something like that. And so yeah, just to give further context.
All right. Any
Yeah,
questions? Any comments? I guess not. I have a question, Edwin, also. So, like, the idea is to categorize the actions of the circles and then use that for analytics. Is that correct?
exactly.
And we have also the other. So, if nothing fits in, we can put it on the other. But
Exactly.
what is the process to update this? Like, so for example, maybe giving an example, we event circle start a new initiative or something like that. And we are doing a lot of tasks related to that. And ideally, sometime in the future, that should be updated to give you more information, or else you'll just have like 20 like a lot of other tasks.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
the process to go about that?
So we are looking at maybe monthly reporting, and we'll see how many new tags that have emerged. Then probably we'll add it, or quarterly. We've not really defined the timeline yet, but we know that there will be new emerging tags that will be coming up. So perhaps we'll relate when the timelines we'll be updating these. And it's also lies on operation to incorporate these new tags.
Sorry. Okay, so we like a timeline, a period after a while that you take a look. Maybe there's some tasks that could be in another category, and what you coordinate with the
Yeah,
circles to make that happen, something like that. Is that it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, cool.
When Edwin discussed earlier with me, the other option or menu, it's a learning space for the data analytics circle. It's where new things are introduced, generally speaking. So yeah.
All right. But so I think from what I understand, also the big change here is like I think the last analytics was Mayor going through all the tasks and trying to categorize them. This way, we would already have categories; they would already be inputted, and
Yeah,
it should be much more efficient, right?
exactly, exactly.
All right, cool. Well, I guess we have no more questions, no more comments about this, right, guys? Yeah, I guess so. The silence says it all. Um, I don't know. If you have anything else to add, Edwin, about this, or anything that you believe is important, Edwin or Ayo, I guess you're both involved in this process.
Now, I don't have anything to add. I think that'll be all. If there's no question, that I'll just wrap it up, and we start operation will start the incorporation.
So this is going to be then incorporated in the sheets, and now
Yeah,
you'll do.
yeah.
All right, all right, cool. Thank you, Edwin and Io, for the presentation. Really short, straight to the point, and I guess really understandable, as there's no question. All right, cool. So I think we can move on to the next topic where we do have a big presentation. Rafael, do you want to say anything else before we put a little bit of Jan going on in this town hall or in this open all ends? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, name change, right? No,
Yeah.
no, no. This is also the All Circles show, community show. Let's put it this way. We structured some guardrails where we imagine or believe the operations would be safe. Let's put it this way. For the deep funding treasure, also in respect to all the applicants and submitters for the next steps. But in fact, it's something that we want to give the responsibility in some way to the community, also on this decision process on who or how it should be performed. So, yeah, in the last call, Rafael, we asked Diane to make this short video, right? Exactly, to bring his perspective on this, and I am completely aligned with him. So let's roll.
All right, great. Yeah, probably already some people watched the video, but I'm sure it's important to play it again for context for everyone here who's not following so closely the messages, probably. Great, Ayo. I don't even need to. You're already on it. Thank you. All right, let's go. It's full screen and everything, huh?
Everybody. I'm just jumping out of a meeting where we discussed with the event circle, where we're discussing one of the topics that I hope will be the topic of this week's All Hands. I won't be able to make it to this All Hands because I'm traveling. And both Rafaels asked me to record this to give a little bit of context. Now, I already wrote a message on the All Hands where I'm trying to convey my thoughts about this topic, but maybe it's good to do it in this way for those that prefer a video. So the topic is this: we have ideation live. RFP ideation process is live. We have the first few ideas coming in. So now it's becoming kind of urgent at some point that we have a process in place for selecting the best RFPs. It won't be completely community driven. There is this up and vote and down vote. That will be used as advice, but not as a final verdict. Because the main line of thinking here is that if we award an idea, then that idea, yeah, just checking if I was recording. If we award an idea, we might give $1,000 to that idea, and when it is turned into a published RFP, maybe another 1,000. That's how I wrote it down right now. That's not the end of the world, right? It's for some people, actually for me as well, a lot of money. But it won't break the bank of deep funding. So we could leave this to the community from that perspective. However, the next stage would be developing the RFP, which might already set us back with a bit higher amount if it's a complex RFP. But obviously, the last stage would be publishing the RFP and then adding an amount to it. So maybe we want to have a solution for something that we estimate would be a maximum of 100K or 80K or 50K. In any case, it would be a lot of money. So each idea that is selected at the beginning will set us back a lot of money at the end. So we need to be extremely picky in which ideas we are rewarding. Maybe rather have too few ideas than too many ideas, and then see how that will evolve over time. Another perspective here is that we need to make sure that the idea is feasible. We need to make sure that there is no overlap with other ideas or other projects that are already being built. We need to make sure that it will really help the mission and vision of deep funding, helping grow our decentralized AI platform, build a community of developers around it, help OpenCog Hyperon if you want. So there are a lot of good ideas out there that will not particularly help this, or not as much as some other ideas will. So in my mind, what we need is to have a kind of core decision team that will look at each idea from different perspectives. We need some diversity. So maybe we need one person looking from the technical perspective, one person looking more from the ethical perspective, one person looking more from the business perspective. I think I had 5 bullets in the message. I don't recall all of them, but please go to the all hands and have a look. And then based on all the perspectives, come with an advice. Is this important? And yes, is this also urgent enough? Do we need to do it now, or could we still do it in a year? If it's still valid in a year, then maybe there are other things we should do first. We also have a budget. So initially, when I thought about this process, I saw myself being part of this selection committee, to be honest. But right now, we are on this other trajectory where we make budgets each half years. So there is a budget for community-driven RFPs, and that's already a guardrail. So within that budget, we can make decisions on which things we think are most important or not. So that is what should be on your mind. If we have a limited budget, is this the one that we really want to reward? Is this the one that is going for all of that? We'll probably learn also about the process. Maybe we'll learn that only a limited percentage of the awarded ideas will actually make it into an RFP, or maybe all of them. I don't know. That's something we'll have to see, and we can take into account at a later stage. So there's this core team, I think, with some specialist people in their area that can give senior advice on based on also taking into account the advice from the community, the thumbs up and thumbs down, and then come with a resolution. I expect that committee to look at all new ideas maybe once every 2 weeks or so. There may be 3 consecutive periods where not a single idea is being awarded. There's no must to award something each period. And maybe the period after that, there will be 2 or 3 that are absolutely great that all are being awarded. So that's all possible. Also think about a little bit ahead about what the scope will be. If it's really a small thing that we can do with 10 or 20K down the line, then it's an easier decision to say yes and to award it than if it's something that if we do it will set us back 200K. Then we really need to have urgency and importance there. So there's this core committee that will make that decision, and then they will select, or we will select, there will be a selection process to have some community experts that have knowledge, domain knowledge and affinity with the topic that will guide the RFP through the rest of the process. So they will determine with the ideator whether that ideator wants to be in charge of the RFP development process and whether that's a good idea or not, or whether we need to have an intermediate step where we call for RFP design proposals. So anybody can say, hey, I would like to write this design. It will cost you 15K, and these are all the things that I will put into it, and this is the kind of work that I will do for it. Could be an architecture, could be marketing research, could be anything. And then they will set up some conditions. So before the RFP is written, at the beginning of that development process, these are the conditions that the RFP has to align to. And then at the end of the day, end of the line, when the team or the person that is writing the RFP delivers it, they will check it against these conditions and say, check, 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 check. You did everything that we wanted, so it's approved. and now it can be published as a real RFP. So very exciting process, I think, to see RFPs ideated by the community, developed by the community, and then also being published by the community and being awarded with real money. Also means that, especially in the beginning, we need to be critical. We need to make sure that it's clear to everybody that we're not just awarding anything, but this is just something for very special and very good and urgent and needed ideas. And that, for those ideas, it's an other new route to get some funding. By the way, just to make it complete, right now, anybody that writes an RFP or is involved in writing an RFP can still also submit a proposal. If they do, then obviously they won't be in the selecting committee that selects the best proposals. That's another topic. But we won't be able to, in pragmatic ways, to filter those people out. They could have another name. They could have somebody they know in their own team that will submit the proposal. So we can't avoid that. So then it's better not to have that rule there and make it open and transparent and say, okay, you were part of the creation process. We see that you also delivered a proposal. We'll judge it on its own merit. So that's the whole process. Main thing right now is how do we filter the incoming proposals? Who will be the people that on a bi-weekly basis or weekly or whatever we think makes sense, depending also on the number of RFP ideas coming in. Who will be the people that we trust make wise decisions on how we spend the treasury down the line and which things are most important? Like I said, it's a pity that I can't be here. I think it would be a lovely conversation, but maybe it had to be like this. Maybe this is one of these instances where I need to hand it over to you, the community, to make up your own mind and to self-organize and to come with a proposal. So whether you will have reach that proposal already in the meeting, or we need another meeting or an offline process, that's all good. But one way or another, I'm looking forward to the outcomes. So happy discussion and happy meeting. See you afterwards. Thank you.
Rafael, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the core of the topic is in the last 60 seconds of the video, right? Of course, it's important to have a rationale and fundamental explanation, but it's about the filtering process. We will probably receive a lot of RFP ideas in this process, because it's relatively simple for anyone to go there and propose, right? And by the way, I think it's also important, can I share my screen, please, Rafael? Just for you to see, for those that haven't yet. Thank you. This is the RFP ideation page on our portal. Okay, so as you can see, we already have two here. We have someone called Ayo, not sure who would be, and also Alfred, that are here, and they propose it. So if you want to submit your idea, you have to log in, okay? And then you can come to here. So as you can see, it's not rocket science to propose. Therefore, probably we are going to receive many RFPs because we are going to pay for those that are selected. And what we are discussing here, it's exactly how to select this. And we don't want to do this in a centralized way where myself or Ian jump in and check and say, this is good or not. This is for the community to decide through this also. We are also open, of course, if you see the whole process something that can be improved, please come forward and also give your statement, remark, and suggestion for us to improve the process in general. Okay, so here you go. The floor is yours for decisions and discussions, actually.
Yeah, if you guys have any ideas, please come. Should we do this quiz? Should we do something else? And if we do a quiz, how are we selecting the people who will be there to make the decisions? And how do we renew that group and make sure it's always up to date? I think that those are big, important questions. Ooh, nice. Abdul Rahman, thanks for being the brave, the first one introducing the topic. Please go ahead.
Uh, Thank you very much, Rafael. Can I confirm if you can hear from me?
Yes, yes.
All
Yes,
right.
we can.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's effort on doing funding operations and all circles members. From what I've gotten from the video, I think it's well detailed and explained how the process of the RFP ideation works. And the most important for discussion is how to set up the committee to select the best idea to be rewarded. Now, I think without having to waste a lot of time discussing this, uh, if Joan won't be part of the selection committee and Rafael won't be part of the selection committee, or perhaps any one of them could be there, I think it would be best they define what should be expected of any responsible individual that will be part of the committee and roll out the application forms for if it's to be all across community members or perhaps within the circle members, then any interested individual can apply. And from what you have might have understand about respective individual in terms of their operations, diligence, responsibility, and accountability. I know some for some certain at some certain level, uh, Yuan and Rafael have been working across all with every single member in the circles, if not the entire community members. I think if it will be limited to circle members to apply on this if they are interested, then they check if each and every applicant tick the boxes of what is expected to be part of the committee members. So I think that will save us time to get these people selected and limit a lot of discussions on this. So that's my own suggestion. Thank you.
All right, Abdul Rahman, thank you. Yeah, I understand what you mean. You mean creating a process for people to apply, all circle members can apply. But then just a few questions to complete maybe your reasoning. Who would make the decision of which circle members stay? What would be what would we look for? How would we assess that? Would we look for the different skill sets of people? And which skill sets do we want to ensure that we have there? And also, how many people would be good enough for the committee to work properly? Do you have ideas on that as well, Abdul
Thank
Rahman?
you. Thank you very much on that. Given the new initiatives, and we don't know how much proposal that will be flowing in, and as has been defined, or in my own understanding, it could be a kind of a weekly process or bi-weekly for the committee to select ideas. For the like I said, we couldn't know how many proposals that can come in, and for a start, I think I would suggest 5 members in the committee on the minimum base, and then who are to be the ones to select these 5 members. Like I said, if Rafael and Jean won't be part of the committee, I think it will be fair enough for them to be the ones selecting the committee members, considering the fact that they have worked with all circle members in one way or the other. And also, what will be part of what we'll be checking in these applicants, particularly in my head now, I don't have any kind of a preference or any kind of uh, ideas of what should be checked, but I believe other members will actually suggest if that is agreed on, what could be checked in these individual applicants. So that's what I was. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Abdul Rahman. And sorry for asking you the tough questions, but you answered them very well.
It's fine. Thank you.
All right, Kenrick, I think you have your hand up.
Yes, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Nice discussion. I'm glad we're moving forward with this. I'm going to give a plug for a course that FOTREC is going to be offering next month on sociocracy, and we're hoping some of the members of the circles will join us. So let me give the plug first and then explain the sociocratic way that you would form a new circle. I've been a member of Sociocracy for All for about a year and a half now, and one of the co-founders of Sociocracy for All has agreed to host a course for FOTREC that we've paid for our team. And we're opening it up to our collaborators. We're suggesting a $90 ADA fee, but we're open to suggestions on that. And it will run on Thursdays during April. And there'll be 3 2-hour classes. And then in the middle of April, there's also a conference that they're hosting that's also on a Thursday. That's the plug. So here's one suggestion. There's different ways to do it, of course, but one way would be that SingularityNet appoints a leader of this committee. Maybe that's yourself or Rafael or someone else that's kind of closely tied to the organization that kind of has some accountability back to SingularityNet. And then they go through an application process where they might select like a very one person initially to be to work with them. And then as you select new candidates, everyone has to consent to that new candidate becoming part of the circle. And finally, each person that's brought onto the circle has a term limit as to how long they're going to serve in that role. And at the term limit, that their appointment would either be renewed, or if there are new applications, someone new would come into the circle. And then the only other thing I would say is the one downside of that is it might come across as kind of being a little centralized in terms of how the circle is being formed. So if there's a desire for a broader process, what I just described maybe could become the nomination process. Like, these are the qualified people that we recommend and nominate for the circle. And then there could be more of a community vote using like the quadratic voting or some other method like that we use for the deep funding. That would be a way of sort of confirming that nomination to actually be on the circle. Some combination of that might work. Interested in other people's thoughts.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Henrik, for sharing. Definitely an interesting idea and understandable. Rafael, you had your hand up. Do you still want to say something, or?
No, yeah. Carrick took the way I would exactly. It's about the process, right? Given the Abduram's input. But yeah, that's the what we should be discussing at this point here. Just one thing, everyone. Don't feel obliged to be within the box of a committee. Perhaps you think that, I don't know, voting through the community through this is also something, well, better suitable for it. So yes, we proposed the committee, but you can also be creative into this if you believe there is a better way in selecting these ideas towards that. Honestly, I wouldn't go with the community vote at this point. It was just an example, stepping back a bit, how you can be creative in giving the selection process.
All right. Thank you, Rafael. Ayo, you have your hand up, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so I was thinking that maybe we could make the process not difficult. and maybe just have an idea of what our considerations are, right? So if you say this is, say for example, let this be a community driven decision, then we need to identify who are the communities or who are the members of the community. Is that circle members, awarded teams, or just somebody who attends town halls and it's conversant with what's going on with deep funding, right? There's that. But then that now raises the question of how much does this person knows enough to decide or be able to say or to have an informed, educated opinion about what a good ideation proposal is, right? So, and then it goes on like that. But one simple way that I think we might approach this is to allow circles nominate one person. So it's both voting and it's both nomination. So inside a circle, you can nominate maybe a couple of people and then you vote on it. And then so you have one person coming from each circle, and if one person is nominated from two circles, maybe that maximum you have 8 people. At some point, maybe you minimum 5 people or something like that. That might work and that might be fast and that might generally be easier to accomplish. We would not be needing platforms or extra processes to come up with that. So yeah. And then if applicants are proposing or not, may also factor into maybe some of these decisions to say, okay, are you going to be one of those people who get to decide if this is the addition, proposal that is selected or not. So yeah, that was clear enough.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea in one way, because if you get a representative from each circle, then you also get maybe an idea of how the idea fits within deep funding in the several different levels of deep funding and the several different initiatives. So on that side is definitely interesting. Thanks for sharing. Um, Kojo, I don't know how to say your name, sorry, but please correct me and welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, the name is Kojo, by the way,
Kojo.
and
Awesome.
I just want to sort of mumble, and then if you can pick up points from what I'm saying, then you can fit it in any of the parts of where things fit in. But I was thinking of so two things. So the first one is before people submit proposals, is there an avenue that exists that gives people in a 3 week or a 6 week crash course on how to perfectly come out with a good RFP? Because I was looking at some proposals the past week, and some proposals were lacking a lot of things like team members and correct ideation. A lot of people had theory in mind, but some of the things you ask if this is actually something that's practical. And maybe this 6 week or 3 week crash course could actually make ideas a bit more from the talking side, but actually to something that can be actually done in a sense. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. Maybe a crash course that directs a funnel of proposing people, and it's also trickles down to people who actually have something that's actionable or something that's not. It's far from just saying you do something, but you're actually doing something. So it cuts out a lot of the fluff. And then the second one is so I've done a little bit of um sessions and stuff about starting startups proposals, and they have this thing called a minimum viable product. So one thing I also realized is that a lot of people, and it touches on my first point, a lot of people say they will do something, but there's nothing to show for. There's no showing of work. There's no even um I don't know the word, but it's maybe you have a design, you have a website you want to build to do an AI problem, but you've created no framework or wireframe of it. We don't even see how it's actually going to work out. You say, okay, you want to do these 3 different things, but we don't even know how the UI will look like, or maybe like how the processes will flow from one point to the other. It's just like a bunch of text, which is like theoretical, but like nothing practical. And sometimes if a person comes out with like a minimum viable product, so like when you're given like no money, no resources, like what's the smallest amount of thing they can possibly do that actually gives us like confidence that like, okay, this is actually something that if we give you money, you can sort of like come out with something practical, something that is actually groundbreaking, rather than saying, oh, I'll do XYZ with zero experience, zero knowledge of how the landscape works. And then this like trying to convince us to give you money only to get the money, and then it's more like a fail than a success. So those are the two things I was thinking about. So like a 3 week or 6 week crash course that directs people from a funnel into like a more fine-tuned proposal that we are expecting. And then the second one is more like them like providing a minimum viable product, which could also be touched on in the 6 week crash course. Like it could be like a way in which we can say, okay, have this as a minimum viable product that like if you pitch to an investor, even outside deep funding, like they see this and like, okay, we're seeing a track record of you doing something, and then we come back this thing that you're saying. So those are the two thoughts that I had, basically.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kojo. Yeah, it's great. I think it's not related to the decision making, but it's related to the processes. So it was important for you to share it, and I think it's valuable to have that in the sense of maybe, as you're saying, standardizing the quality of the proposals and also maybe getting a little bit more assurance. We also had during the rounds the RFP ideation, no, sorry, the ideation pool, which is great for that, is a way you can research the service you want to provide, and you can also prepare yourself with for actually developing it, which is a great way to show your capabilities and what you're going for in a more detailed manner, I would say. Uh, Judith, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's just in response to what Kojo is saying. Right now we're talking about the RFP ideation process. So here it's really just about ideas, not about minimum viable products or any team members. So for the RFP ideation, what we want is just to source ideas from a lot of different people. So those proposals that come in, they will not have a requirement to talk about team members, or literally you do not have to have something to show for it. Is about the idea. What you're saying though, I suppose, with the training that we could have for proposal writings, I mean, yeah, maybe in the actual I mean, we do have guidance on our website of what a good proposal looks like. Plus, we have Deep Funding Academy, which also helps people in the proposal writing process. So there's definitely resources available already. But yeah, I'm sure it can always be improved. But yeah, for the RFP ideation, I'm not sure if we need a whole lot of training, because that is literally about creative ideas. But thank you. And I think Rafael wanted to speak to that as well. So go ahead, Rafa.
Yeah, thank you, Judith. No, yeah, you said perfectly. Also, we have some comments here in the chat. It's a different process. It's just the idea. You can completely only give the idea and vanish, and then the community and the process will take on, and we are going to deliver it. So perhaps someone that has the idea doesn't even know how to do it, but the idea is good. So on the crash course, yes, not necessarily in this format, but the education of this process is important, yes. But at the same time, we don't want to drive too much people or submitters that are going to propose there, because we want the ideas to be creative and coming from, any perspective that we have. For the next steps, perhaps this would be interesting. I mean, for those that are going to execute and deliver the proposal, we might have some sort of thinking in this direction. but the first step is to be really, really, really frictionless. We want to make it easy to anyone to jump in, give an idea, and it might be a game changer for deep funding.
All right, thank you, Rafael. Ayo, please go ahead.
Thank you, Judith and Raphael. Not to belabor the old thing, I just wanted to chip in that we can't expect all proposals to be excellent. I mean, that's not how life works. That's why when you do analysis, there's always a bell curve. There's always and there's also I mean, there are several costs to these things. I'm not speaking in terms of money, time, effort, focus, and all those things. And then at the end of the day, the reason we have expert reviewers and we have people and we have different programs and we have different things, and it's so that people can also learn and grow as it goes. And that in itself is already education, right? And so yeah, right now it's ideation process, RFP. We're trying to decide how to decide what ideas become RFPs. Basically, there's still the part of Jan mentioned that the part where we get to decide who I mean writes the ideation, the RFP itself. Who publishes it, who works to make and things like that. So at this stage, it's basically just ideas.
All right, awesome, Ayo. Thank you. Vanny, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of defining some sort of a committee. Let's say we're going to go that way. It seems like a good way to go. I wonder if we need to start by doing a little bit further thinking on what criteria we want to assess RFPs on. Because obviously, if we had 5 criteria, then that's 5 members. Because I do think Jan was right that we should be having a person who's in that committee to assess on technical issues and a completely different person who is in primarily to accept, to assess on ethical issues and whatever. So yeah, I feel like we haven't fully thought through as a community on what bases do we want to assess RFPs. I think there might be other criteria. Obviously, tech is one, obviously, ethics is one. I'm kind of feeling like safety might be a slightly different issue than ethics, so that might be a thing. And there might be different element, just calling it tech is a little loose. Maybe there are more specifics. But I do think we need to keep such a selection team quite small. 5 does feel like a kind of magic number. So if we had 5 criteria, and I liked Io's idea earlier of circles nominating people to stand for that particular criterion, you know. So we have that, and then I kind of feel like people should swap in. It shouldn't be that committee is there forever. The idea of almost like a rotation. So maybe we swap the tech person out after 6 months or 3 months, and then after 4 months we swap another person out. So people are getting mentored. Do you know what I mean? As you come new into that committee, there are people who've been there for a while and can support you. The other thing I'm wondering, and this might make it too complicated and too fiddly, but if this committee made recommendations and then we ran a community-wide consent process on their recommendations, is that too much? It is kind of a little bit more decentralized, but yeah, I don't know if it's too much overhead.
Yeah, no, I think that consent idea is especially interesting. I think like they do the assessment of a proposal, it's open, and if we have anyone in the community who wants to say something about it, I think that's interesting. Then it's also about knowing maybe the challenge could be knowing if the person is for the community or is in some way associated with the proposal or something like that. that could be eventually a challenge. But I think it would be super interesting to have that. Because in case there's a lot of people disagreeing with that decision, it would be good to be reviewed for sure. And also an important question is exactly that. Do you want people to have certain expertises, certain topics? Is that really important? And if so, how are we going to make sure that the people we are putting in will have those skills? Well, Slate, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, adding to the same point that Vanessa raised, as the RFP submission process or the idea process is rather going to be simple and straightforward, the main question over here would be that how can we limit the people who are going to be selecting the RFP's ideas, as they are going to be different submitted by different people, and they being from different domains and area of interest. Maybe let's say one RFP focuses on the technical aspects and the other one focuses on the marketing one, or let's say business. But even if we have a technical person in the committee but not a business one, there could also be a thing that there might be niches or between both the technical RFP ideas and also the marketing ones. So how are we going to be implementing that? And how are we going to be selecting from those different niches? As maybe we have a technical person, but he cannot judge or assess ideas from all the technical fields. And the same goes for business. So yeah, that's one pointer I would like to raise.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't know what comes up, and it's very hard to have an expert on everything in every level. So I guess yeah, that's definitely something. Maybe this committee could ask for help from experts in some point if they need it for any decision. I don't know. Just an idea. Ubio, go ahead. Thank you, Slate.
Yeah, thank you, Rafael. Maybe a little bit different here. I'm actually thinking about the practicality of having people that would be able to judge, like commenting on Slate's point, that will be able to judge on all round, like the possibilities are endless. Like the possibilities of having someone like, especially be that it's idea, right? Ideas can be crazy. So I'm really thinking if we want to go the technical route, have someone that will understand all the ideas, all the businesses, all the ethical concerns, all the, it's almost an impossible task we are taking on here. And if at all we want to take this whole route of CRISP, right? If at all we want to take it, I think for me, fundamentally, what I think is extremely important as a requirement would be the person's experience in the community. I think that it gives you the sixth sense to be able to pick the ideas that would be relevant to us and would be relevant to the community. I think I would prioritize that particular skill or requirement. Like I said, if at all we're taking this direction, because I totally favor a very different route. But again, I'm just saying if this is a route that most of us want to take, I'm very comfortable with that as well. I'm just saying that for me, I think one requirement that I think is extremely important for this kind of committee would be experience in the community, for you to be able to have that sixth sense to be able to pick relevant ideas that would be relevant to the community and relevant to this thing. There's something we said with the whole RFP when we started the whole RFP initiative, and it was to increase quality and make sure that we get things that are relevant to the community. And I don't think there are people, if someone is going to be able to pick something that is relevant to the community, it should be those people that are experienced in the community. However, I think I favor a very different route, touched by Ayo and Vani in very different ways. I think that this is a task for the circles, and if at all we want to take it in a democratic approach, then circles nominate people to go into this, and whatever decision they take it on behalf of their circles. Circles have to trust their judgment, and maybe once in a while they may have to bring certain things back and let the circles also decide before they make their own decisions, right? So they become representatives of the circles. One angle, one direction of it. The other direction is circles having the autonomy to circle members or circles making their vote without necessarily having a person representing the vote. So developer outreach circle make a vote. The marketing circle make a vote. And so it's a circle making a vote, not necessarily people, right? So we have our own internal mechanisms and debates, and then make our own judgment on what we think is actually best, right? So in this case, the assumption, in my own opinion, is that in most of these circles, we will have definitely a representation of most of the facets of everything we would need in terms of whether one experience, and in terms of two, the technical requirements for those that brought up the argument of the technical requirements and every other thing that would be needed as well. I feel like the circles is where we could actually have all of that. So I see this as more of a circle kind of thing, but the process could be a little bit different. Yeah, just some thoughts. But like I said, either ways, I'm very open with whatever we come up with.
So just to clarify, for you, it would be like, I don't know, you'd have a circle and the circle needs to come up with an answer. So you basically, there's a new proposal coming, and we as a circle would come together and maybe say, organize ourselves, maybe nominate someone to be in charge of the proposal or something. And then if that person needs some help, she could ask help from the circle members. We would come up with the final assessment, and we would send our assessment as a circle. Is that correct? Something like that?
Like I said, I propose two things here.
Yeah.
One is we have representative government, so a person from each circle represented at the central point making decisions, or no person at anywhere, just circles making their independent decisions and then collating it, right? So deaf outreach circle chooses three, right? Rank it according to whatever metrics. We give this one 5, 4, 3. We choose our best three. The other one chooses, and then we rank it, and then we collate. Whatever comes at the top, it's actually what comes up. So at that point, we really do not put responsibility on any person, and nobody can actually game the system, and nobody can actually pinpoint one person who was in charge of deciding which idea went up and which one did not.
Okay, cool. I think that's an interesting idea, having the circle deciding as well. I would say only one thing is like picking three is going to be hard. I think it's more of a yes or no answer, because what happens is at any point in time, new proposals can come in, and what needs to be done is a decision on that proposal, knowing there might be better proposals in the future or not, you don't know, but playing with that uncertainty and saying, should we fund this right now or not? But I think the whole process is similar to what you're mentioning. So thank you, Ubio, for sharing. And we have now Abdul Rahman, please.
Uh, Thank you very much, Rafael, and thanks to every single individual that have proposed idea on how to establish the decision-making committees. As much as I like community-driven initiatives, expanding this to the level of community, we bring a lot of kind of long discussion at the end of the day. Now, from what people have proposed, I just want to say again that given all factor checked from my own end, in terms of credibility, in terms of transparency, and in terms of expertise or whatever things that might be required in checking any single individual that will be part of the committee. Circle members to choose from as the best. But the problem now is how should we select these people? Now I want to propose again. From UBO point of view, we can get from respective circles, we can get nominations of maybe 1 to 3, as he mentioned. Then, if Joan and Rafael are reiterated again, won't be part of the committee, this will be allowed to vet these nominated people and check for the minimum 5 if you agree to that. Then they return that very nominations or the ranked minimum 5. I think if it will, when I go through that process, it could be a little bit more clear. But going to the expansion of bringing a lot of community members to vote and whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, could jeopardize the expected quality that we are looking into. Because somebody that might possibly be interested, if it is allowed to be open for all members of the community to get more people to vote me, even though I might not have that very expertise at the end of the day. So checking in that direction, it is very important that we have people that understand the rudiment of deep funding and the understanding of the RFP ideations, like the expectation and the objectives, to select people on this very particular mission. So in that regard, what I will maintain is nominate people from the circles, then let Jan and Rafael check these people, consider the previous works with these people, their technicality, their expertise in all of the expected areas, talking of business-wise, talking of feasibility in ideas, talking of technical possible feasibility of the technicality, and a lot of sort of things that might be considered. Then, and all of that things checked. Oh, we agreed to these 5. Then they propose the 5 names to maybe the circle member, as Ayo mentioned, that we have to define who are the community member at this point in time that will be voting, or perhaps that will be consenting to the numbers that will be proposed. So if that is defined, we are limiting those people that will be making decision or agree to this proposition of 5 members to all circle members, or perhaps those people that have been attending town halls and all hands meetings that we understand. So we let them actually vote on these 5 people, but then there is limitation to how, like myself, I can say I didn't know quite a lot of people here, and I can as well not verify a lot of people expertise in some certain areas. So if you subject that to community voting, that might cause a lot of trouble at the end of the day, because I just want to vote based on, oh, I know these people when it comes to meeting, but might possibly not be able to verify their expertise in whatever possible jurisdictions. But if we allow those people, those 2 people to check that, considering the fact that they have worked together with all these circle members, so then they just present to the community, oh, this is a number of people that we've selected, checking all these boxes that we've listed. Do you consent to this or not? Then we define those people that will be consenting to that. Or only circle members or those people that we've known to be present that always come to meetings and understand what is happening in the ecosystem. Not just anybody coming from anywhere unnecessarily. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Abdul. I think we understood your idea now, an evolution between what was suggested and also between the choosing method you had before. Thank you. Ayo, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to just quickly chip into what Ubio said. I really like the idea. We proposed 2 things. I really like the idea, but I have the concern that because we do not know how many addition proposals may come in, it makes it quite a lot of task for SAC members to have to deliberate on which of those proposals. Imagine if 5 SAC members have to deliberate on 60 addition proposals to choose maybe top 5 or top 10. I don't know. I don't. Even if we have the time, it will take the time. So that is it's a concern for me, the way I see it. And what Abdul said about, say, for example, Rafael and Ian having worked with people, knowing people, being able to vet, that is true, but that is not the only true thing. Another true thing is that SAC members know SAC members. Perhaps better than Rafael or Jan know them. I remember that there was a time that Review Circle had to delegate somebody to be in the work group for the round 5. It was a decision of the SAC members, and it was quite brilliant, nominating one person. In fact, we used Lumio. It was pretty seamless. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm saying that there's a precedence for nominating people within the circle that actually turned out really well. Very, very, very good process. So I'm just putting that in all the mix. Now, the question is, there's a number being thrown around, and that's 5. Vani says it's a magical number. Abdul says 5. 5 is good. I like 5. But we have more than 5 circles, right? We have 8 or 9. If you decide to have documentation work group to 8, I mean, why not really? So you are looking at 8 or 9. So if you're nominating per circle and you want to have 5, then how does that work, right? So, I mean, I'm not picking any particular position. I'm just responding to things the way I see them. All right.
All right, awesome. Cool. Thank you, Ayo. We had a lot of insights. Thank you, guys. This was awesome. It's great to hear opinions and to hear many different voices. So thank you to everyone who spoke, and that's awesome to have your opinion. Yeah, I think we have here several different ways of doing it. We have this method with circles. We have a method more related to Jan and Rafael deciding. Um, yeah, the question should be how we are going to decide which method we want, right? I think that's important, if we should do a vote or something. I can suggest
Yeah.
also another method that I don't know if it's the best.
Rafael, sorry.
Yeah.
Rafael, sorry to chip in. So sorry. There's a chat from Ayomi Sugar about saying allow review circle to handle it. I just thought we
All
should
right.
also.
So yeah, let me see. How about the review cycle handle it? Will that work? Maybe DF should entrust the responsibility of selecting and managing RFP ideations to the existing review circle, as they are experienced individuals, and they will also understand better those ideas that align with the deep funding's vision. Vanny, you had your hand up. Maybe it's also about this. Any comments? Any
No,
ideas?
I was just gonna like mention that was there as well.
Awesome. I don't know. What do you guys think about this idea? Anyone wants to say anything about this idea of having the review circle being the committee, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. What I would say is that it could have been the best possible solution. So far, we have a structure for reviewing a proposal initially, but then I couldn't. Let me see if I can understand from a perspective of Jean very well. Presenting this RFP ideation, it's go beyond just building products. It's about bringing idea. But it can be very conceptual to say this is possible, then might possibly not be achievable at the end of the day. That is one beautiful thing about ideas. So idea is it goes beyond having a defined proposal of building a particular product. That'll be very well structured and spelled out. So I don't know, as I'm aware, being part of the review circle, or sorry, an expert reviewer, 2 times for the funding program now. review circles are actually, I want to say, are limited to, I don't know if I'm wrong, I can be corrected. We are limited to some certain things to check as far as proposal is concerned. So, but in the case of idea, there is a need for a very more broader expertise that go beyond checking individual products, feasibility, or whatever. So I can just say I want to build bridge where there is no water. That's an idea. So it's should be coming to the sense that beyond ordinary checking, oh, this is feasible or possibly not. So we need some level of ISR standard and expertise to check into that very regards. So in my own perspective, I think there should be a dedicated group to work on this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ayo, you also wanted to say something?
Yeah. So considering what Ayomi Sugar said and Van's response and now Abdul's response, I was just thinking that maybe, I mean, and I'm not trying to complicate this, right? So maybe a two-step approach works. So the committee after the review circle or the review circle after the committee or something like that, and does not have to be too many people, but all the same, I think what we want to do here is simply to know that this is ideas. This is not the RFP publication itself, right? This is some people have dropped ideas. They've highlighted the problem and then they try to sell an idea. Which idea do you guys think we should run with? We should make into an RFP, right? And it's simply, okay, so which idea aligns with defunding? Which idea is urgent? Like, okay, if we do this now, really starts us, which one can stay? So I think it's not something that you should make too hard. Like Ubio said, you just need a group of people who have the necessary background, experience, generally, with deep funding, understand deep funding needs. And these are naturally that we find in the circles, right? And reviewers are also, review circle is also a circle. Now, Van is saying it has to be odd number. I agree. So let's say, for example, 11. You can decide, okay, we have 8 circles. Let review circle have 3. Well, I mean, that's also one way. That way, you imagine both approach. You have review circle, more in it because they are review circle, right? And then you have every other circle represented, and so.
All right. Awesome. I don't know. I I would personally like to bring all these ideas and maybe vote them on this call. I don't know what you guys think about it. Do you think it's too early? Should we have more discussion? Vanny, that's a
Yeah,
quick end. That's a
no,
quick
I was
end.
just going to say exactly this, that it feels like we've seen Jan's video like literally in the last couple of days. And, you know, this is quite a big decision. It feels like are we expecting to come to a decision out of this meeting? Because there is a bit of urgency, but it feels like people might need to go and mull over some of the things that have been said. I don't know. What do people think?
Yeah, I think that's important. What do people think? We can also opt to have a temp check and then come again next week and discuss it. I don't know. What do you guys think, please?
Very
Temp
important
check
is
would be
to put
good.
Uh,
very important is to put the ideas on paper, right? For everyone to see the full picture of the options, because something might slip in between the cracks and people might not have the full picture here.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we also have two different things that we need to think about in one sense. That one is who's the committee or who's going to make the decision, and the other thing is something that was also mentioned during this call is whether we want to make sure we have different skill sets and expertises, and how are we going to check that? So that part, it's all question in itself, I think, right?
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, just to keep the thinking here. I read here about the review circle you also brought, and yeah, that crossed my mind before. But I wanted to talk to them first, to have a call, and then to have their perspective into this, and I didn't want to overstep here. However, with the outcome of this discussion here that is being led by you, if we have, for instance, a situation where we have circles voting, it's one thing. But if we indeed create a committee that it's going to work on this filter, we still, and now I'm talking about structure of deep funding, right? And operations as well. We still have to have this committee within a circle, because we have to perform payments, we have to do a lot of administrative things, and indeed, it's a review process. So not necessarily this committee will be formed by people that are there already, but the way I see, if we have a committee, we are going to integrate this within into the review circle, because we need to have this structure. Unless we create a new circle, RFP circle, that is going to, but then it's going to might be more complex. And also for a discussion later, the way things are going, we are having a lot of formats of funding, right? As you all know. And the review circle is important in practically all of these formats. And we see, or at least the way I see, we see some specialities. So RFPs in a way, rounds in another way, partnerships another way, RFPs ideation another way. So the way I am envision this, we are going to have a subsets or subcircles within that circle that can have people going in many of them or only one, and so on. So just to mention that if we have a committee, most likely this committee will integrate the review circle for administrative reasons.
All right, thank you, Rafael, for the clarifications. Ayo, you had your hand up. Do you want to say anything? Is Ayo you still here? Maybe he's not. Disappeared.
Cardoso, I'm not sure and sorry. I see here Rubio, Judith, also Andrea was here. There is this topic, it's probably, and sorry for shedding light on this and bringing it.
I don't think I can hear.
Yeah, me neither. Rafael,
Yeah,
I,
can
I
you
was
see me?
not. Now we can. I was not sure if it was my network or yours.
No, probably it's mine
Yeah,
here. Probably it's
yeah.
mine.
Thank you,
But
Ubio.
is Rubio here?
Yeah, Ubio was just saying he couldn't hear you. So if you can start from the
No, no,
beginning.
no, no. It's a new initiative that's happening, and it's important for the whole circles, at least to know now. We might give more information then. But as you know, we are in the BGI round right now, and after that, we were expecting to have the round 5, the regular one, which will still happen. But in the midway, we are probably having another initiative, and perhaps Ubio, Judith, or Andrea would like to talk about the AI for Peace. Just to give a
Wow, you're really gonna give it away already? Come on.
well, we have to start. We have to start from somewhere, right? Today's
Yeah, but we're just creating all the really nice posts and all of that.
yeah. Okay, so you are going to be curious by until then, guys.
Yeah, wait until the announcement goes out.
Okay, no problem, no problem. It was just because I thought this was a good way of us saying for the circles to prepare themselves as well. But it's fine.
Prepare themselves.
we might have a better opportunity to discuss this. No problem.
Yeah, we're not prepared, so the announcement's not going to be as good. Like it, we need to
Sounds perfect.
prepare. It's going to be way better worded in the documents we put out.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Back to you, Cardoso.
Right now, I don't know if there's anybody else wants to add anything. Please do. Yeah, I would add just another suggestion that I don't think is the best, but but I want to add it anyway, which is we could have like a simple voting process where anyone from the community could apply, and then would come here as all circles, and we would vote on the person. People would basically say why they want to be community members, what is their skill sets, and what they want to give. So for the review process, and this way you know who's interested and available, and then we could all vote and have like the circle approval. This is all also opens the doors for other people, like maybe awarded team members who would like to participate and which are not circle members. I would say, Fanny, do you want to do a temp check or should we leave it for a next call? I'm saying Fanny because
Don't ask me. What would we do a temperature check on? Because we've had quite a few different ideas and it feels
yeah,
like they're all a bit disparate. But if we could identify one thing that is an either or, it'd be quite nice to, I don't know.
alright, yeah. I
Let
think
me
that's
think.
good. Sorry, I think that's a good idea to identify like all the topics.
I mean, is anybody documenting this session? Because we could really do with like somebody pulling out what were the suggestions and then maybe sharing a doc. And I would do it, but I know I've not got time this week. So unless we do it as a shared doc, if we just create a document and everyone bungs in anything they remember as having been suggested, we could go from that.
Yeah, I think that could be a good idea. I'll also, yeah, we can do a shared doc. I'll also see if someone in the event circle wants to do that if they have some time.
And can
Uh,
you save the chat as well? Because there's a couple of things in there that would be useful to add.
yeah, I think chats are already saved, so yeah, no worries. Um, but let's check. I think from the call, I think the suggestions that were made were more related to the circles being the ones deciding. We had also circle nominated representatives. We had the review circle being the one decided. We would have the solution of having a form for people to apply to a committee and Rafael and Jan making the choices. And I believe we had also my suggestion of people applying and all circles would vote. Are we missing anything else, or I don't know, guys? Have we missed anything else? Please. We had the suggestion from Kenrick also of having Singularity Net nominating a representative and then someone else, and then they would decide on the people who would join that. Is that correct? I hope I'm giving it enough explanation. All right. So yeah, hopefully I think it's a good idea to try to document this and try to come back next week with next week, no, in 2 weeks, I guess, with those documented ideas. I think making it a shared document is also positive because you guys that were here and were suggesting your ideas, you guys are probably the best ones to write down what exactly do you mean and not to me or anyone else. So yeah, please get involved. We'll share it within all circles, maybe also within the awarded teams, a shared document. And then hopefully we can come again to this call to discuss and hopefully vote. I just want to vote and make you guys all vote and, and move forward. Yeah. All right. Any final comments? Anything else anyone else wants to add or wants to say? I guess not. Well, I will.
Can I say something, as always, before closing?
Please, go ahead, Ali.
I just want to say I'm really looking forward to see all the submissions in this ideathon. Oh no, idea RFP. Really looking forward for it. Hopefully, we get really cool submissions. That's all I want to say.
All right. Yes, thank you. We already have two if you want to check them out. And you
I
can
read
see.
them. I read them. The university one, I really like the name. The other one I haven't read it already. I just saw the Jan that did the test one. It was like this is a test, and the university one, Defan sounded so cool. But yeah, look, I'm gonna read the other one ASAP.
All right, awesome. And it's an invitation for everyone, not just for you. And thank you, Ale, for your last words. Really appreciate that. Well, that being said, I think we can wrap it up. I'm adding your sixth choice, that is the Kenrick's choice, but I think we can wrap it up for today. Thank you all for being here. Um, yeah, it was great to have this discussion. Yeah, Clement, go ahead, please. Yeah, give me some time to write.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hello.
I mean, this is more like a question. I mean, I'm glad that the majority of what's on the table to be discussed is done, and this doesn't cover situation. So I just want to ask about the review cycle. Um, I want to understand what's the process of communication um, that's in place between the review cycle and teams who submit their milestones. What's the extent to which they should communicate with the team? And also, is there like a structured process for which reviews are done? Also, could there be like maybe like some sort of an event where or like a feedback mechanism where awarded teams can come and express their experiences with, their milestone reviews and stuff like that. And I also want to ask around, I don't know if there's like any stated channel for communication between review cycle and teams who make project submissions. So I don't know if this is the best place to ask it, but I just thought I should since this is like an all-hands
Uh,
meeting. Yeah.
Clement, if I understood correctly what you are asking, it's what's the channel for you to talk with the reviewer, right? As an awarded team, how to discuss or talk with the reviewer. And I'm gonna say to you that it won't happen. And why? The reviewer that's reviewing the milestones, and I hope you are talking about this. Well, I as understood. They have to be more. They have to have more freedom to put their real assessment there, right? And we don't want to put a spotlight on the reviewer when the reviewer rejects, for instance, the milestone. And then the awarded team can go after that reviewer. And so for that, this communication in between the review circle and the awarded team, it should go through the coordinators of the review circle. Okay. If you are experiencing anything bad or wrong, here is also the invite not only for you but for everyone. We created this anonymous channel on Mattermost, and if you have some complaint, it can also be handled there, and you can shed light there if the case. Okay, but I would say that initially you can talk with the coordinators of the review circle, or even in the awarded teams channel in Mattermost as well. If you want to be more specific, you can reach out to me as well, and we can talk about if you are experiencing any problem.
Awesome. I saw your message. So great. It answered your question, Clement. And yeah, it's always a good place to ask whatever you want to ask, as long as it's related to deep funding, definitely. Uh, Io, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Rafael. Thank you, everyone. So I want to say that we have a couple of new names here today, about quite a lot. So it would be nice if you guys were to say hello. Let us know what circle you are part of and how this has been for you as an experience. Not to put you on the spot, but it would be a nice experience if you would just say hello to us, you know.
All right. Thank you, Ayo, for that request. I support it. If anyone wants to say anything, go ahead, guys. We would love to hear from you and make it also more human, you know. It's not just us talking, but you guys, people. Okay. Gufrim, please tell me how to say your name.
You can say Godfred.
Godfrim, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm
Welcome.
Godfred. Thank you. I'm Godfred. I'm part of the review circle. I don't have much to say now. Probably next time, but yeah, that's it.
No worries. But great to have you here, Godfred, and great to hear your voice and now know your name. Thank you for your courage.
All right.
Thank you.
So we have Ebenezer, we have Richard, Kojo who spoke, Obed, I mean Gustavo, Fred, Quasi Invisible. I mean, Alfred Alomati, Alfred. So nice to have you guys. We're not trying to put you on the spot, but we just like to warm up to you. We'd like to just say hello, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. So as rightly said, my name is Alfred Alomachi. I'm part of the review circle, and then so far this has been a nice journey. And as I said, I don't really have much to say right now, but I'm sure maybe subsequent meetings I can bring up ideas and stuff.
Thank you, Alfred. Great to have you here, and we'll look forward to hear from you. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Hi guys, can you hear me?
all good, and you, and great to see your face as well. That's awesome.
Okay, so I work for PC, and yes, I mean I've worked with invisible technologies for some time, and I'm currently a reviewer. Yeah, and I've been enjoying the experience so far. I look forward to working with you guys for the foreseeable future.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
and
you.
for sharing about you.
Everything you said, you said it 3 times each. Thank you so much.
It was a nice echo, a nice echo. But it was understandable, so don't worry. All
Okay,
right.
so Kojo here. I made a submission earlier. Again, I'm part of the review circle. So my experience, it's been good so far. It's been good. I'm waiting to like do the team meeting, so I'm really looking forward to that, and then seeing where we go from there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kojo. Welcome. And also, yeah, thank you for also speaking, not just now, but before.
You're welcome.
All right. I don't know if you have anyone else, but this was great. Ayo, thanks for the initiative and for the work. You're the guy, the go-to guy to ask people, to put people on the spot and to go after them. You know, we do it, you do it in messages, you do it in in the chat, and thank you. It's really important work. So yeah, if there's nobody else wants to say anything, I think we can wrap it up for today. Thank you for the great call. Thank you for the great conversations. We, as Event Circle, will try to organize and put some shared document with some of the ideas there on the Mattermost, on all circles, and on awarded teams, because we also had some awarded teams here. Uh, Please go there, add your opinions, add whatever you think is important, whatever you feel is missing, because we won't have everything there. And if you shared any idea, you should definitely go there and add more detail onto your ideas, because that will just make it, better for people to understand what it is about and maybe even see its merit and vote for it. So yeah, that's the next steps, and we hope to see you next week for the town hall at 18 UTC on Thursday. So yeah, thank you all very much, and bye bye.